time.
I ain't do this in a long time. Oh, brother. What's up, man?
Congrats. How does it feel to see your name, to see that, to get this accolade?
I mean, I can't even describe it, man. Honestly, it's a feeling like no other. I haven't had this much emotion build up in me in a long time. I was telling somebody, I was jokingly talking to someone about last time I boo-hoo cried this much is when I lost somebody. So, man, trust me, I'm overwhelmed with joy right now. But it's a hell of a feeling, man. Honestly, I think when you look back at it, because I've been looking back at it since they told me, it's gratifying just to know, man, that you're going to be appreciated. I'm one of those guys. I got enough friends, family, and people who really love me and care about me that gives me all I need when it comes from love, that I don't look for much from folks, but to be remembered in this way from this organization, yeah, I love the feeling.
Tana, who told you and what was that conversation like? How'd you find out, and what was your kind of immediate reaction?
B. Mitch told me, your guy, your buddy. We was actually on set wrapping up our last segment, and B went to rambling about something, and I'm like, and those guys know I'm the worst when it comes to surprising. I hate them, but like I told them, after that surprise, you can surprise me 100 more times with that. I forget about it, and we can do it again because I want to get it right. You know, I felt like so much had went through just when he spoke it. I didn't know whether to shed the tears then I was kind of stunned, and then have all my guys come in, and I'm like, I was on the phone with all you guys the last few days and weeks, and no one have ever mentioned it. So, yeah, man, B did a good job. Ryan them did a good job. Our staff did a great job, man. The command center staff, they just so good at everything they do. But to hold that, keep that away from me that long, man, and I'm asking my brother, he just told me he knew about a month, I think a month or two, he say. So, yeah, B was the guy, and trust me, I told him I'm going to get him back.
When you get something like this, what do you look back on with what you went through here in your playing career here?
You know, one of the things that stand out to me, man, we try to talk about this a lot on air when we, expressing what's going on with the players and some of the days when it's not going to be so good for them individually, and the team has to go out there and just, you have to be a part of the team, find a way to do something that's going to contribute to your team's success. Whether you win or lose, you want to be a part of it. I know it might be odd hearing this from me because I'm a receiver, and it's probably nothing's odd when it come out of my mouth these days. But that's what I think about. I think about the times when it wasn't fun. Think about the times when I was home, ticked off of, damn, why I gotta go have this conference with this coach tomorrow? Because I'm building up words to tell him, like, bro, how can I get involved more? I'm out here, so I know I'm worthy, so what do we got to do offensively to get me involved? That's what comes up. It's just like so many times when it wasn't going well, but the one thing the fans have always told me, they could never remember a moment of it's not going well. So that meant a lot to me that I was able to hide those games where it wasn't successful with me catching-wise or yardage-wise and still be a part of the outcomes, the special outcomes, or whether there was a loss, they still saw 89 go out there later on the line. So that's what I've always took home with me, man. When I rest that night, just knowing that they appreciate everything I did out there, good or bad.
By the way, congratulations.
Thank you, man.
The other part, when did you ever look up at the Ring of Fame and just kind of picture your name up there? Did you ever think about this?
Man, if you be on my phone calls that time with my friends and my homeboys and my brothers, man, they mention it so much, and I try not to think about that stuff because it's like sometimes you don't get work, you don't get honored. I've seen plenty of guys that I feel like should be honored in another way that hasn't got honored. So I never make it something as in I should be honored. I just say, hey, if I'm worthy, one day I'll be up there. But numerous of times I watched guys, I looked at names and just like, oh man, I remember that guy. Especially a lot of the guys I haven't played with. You know, I remember last season, I was standing on the field with B and BC, and we was looking at London name, and we was talking about the night that London got in there, and I was like, man, London and Chris Samuels, those are two guys that I played with that, you know, and I was saying I'm sure it's a few more guys in that from that team that should get acknowledged, but we just don't never know. So to actually have my opportunity come now, man, like I say, I'm honored, man. I'm more than honored. I'm at the point right now, like I said before, I'm a loss for words right now, but I'm extremely happy about it because I know, like I said, I put so much into it. I don't walk around with a hat saying how much I put into it or my stats or what I went through. I just left it on the field, and even when it came time to retire, you know, fans get on me to this day like, bro, you didn't get a fair off, you didn't get your fair due send off of coming in and telling people you retired. I say, bro, I remember coming into this game in college through the back door as a walk-on. So to get to where I've got it, you know, professionally, 14 years, 10,000 plus yards, a household name in here, man, I don't have to go out no way. I'm pleased, you know.
Hey, Santana, congratulations to you. In a few, I guess, short years, this ownership group has done a lot around here and to honor the legends. So can you just share your thoughts on the ownership group and all that they're doing around here?
Well, before they honored me with this, they've been doing a great job. I think from day one, just the things they do in the stadium for the fans to make things easier when it comes to the concessions. Just the whole, if you look at I guess you can say, you know, I'm there a lot because we do a lot of those meet and greets, and I've watched them transform those suites in the area to make it better for people experience. It's about the experience. You know, these people paying this money to come out here and enjoy the game, but they want to tailgate. They want to leave with an experience. And I think the owners has been doing a great job just giving them that experience alone. But then when you talk about them putting more money into the facility here, you talk about them making sure any and everything that hasn't been done. They didn't just buy the team and say, okay, we done, and let's go out there and win. No, they did it from just making the players comfortable, making the fans comfortable, making the experience better, and then getting the right kind of coaches here, you know. That's first and foremost to me. You got to have the right kind of leader in here to lead these men. People think that a lot of times you can get any coach and say, all right, go out there and be a good football team. It's not that easy, and I played with a lot of them. So I think I look at it from that standpoint, but then now also when you look at Art Monk getting his jersey retired and then them honoring me in this way, man, it's just I can't speak enough about how great of a job they've been doing thus far.
Hey, Santana, congratulations.
Thank you, Donna.
Could you talk a little bit about when you look over your career and all the things that you were able to do, and when you look up there and see your name up there in the Ring of Fame, what are some of those memories as far as career-wise that really stands out to you?
Man, we'll be here all day if I start talking about that. Honestly, man, I can never forget about Monday night. That was like my introduction into the whole Cowboy-Redskin rivalry back then in 2005 when I first got here. In week 2, who would have expected us to, you know, shock the world like that in week 2 of that season? I fast forward the ups and downs through that year, and then I go to the Christmas Eve game when I walked in that stadium and everybody got those Santa Claus signs up, you know, and I had that 3 touchdown performance against the Giants. And it was crazy because it was like right after, I believe, Emmitt Smith had just spoke of me on ESPN or one of them networks he was on and said I wasn't a Pro Bowler to him. And so you can I'm pretty sure you know how I was feeling about that, being that I grew up watching and loving Emmitt Smith. I'm like, well, wow. Just because I did what I did to the Cowboys, you speak of me in that fashion. But I didn't take it hard. I said at the end of the day, I've always been a guy about action. And I think, you know, I'd rather walk it than talk it anyway. So I let my play speak, and I went out there and had that performance, and I couldn't wait to see Emmitt Smith again, you know what I'm saying? But games like that, and then fast forward to 2006, you know, I remember my childhood, you know, on Sundays watching Mark Brunell, Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell in Jacksonville. Jacksonville was like a new team. They was a new franchise in Florida. I grew up in Florida. I'm like, okay, I've never really been a Dolphin fan, so I'm going to root for these guys. And watching those guys have the success at the wide receiver position with Mark Brunell, Then 2006, Jacksonville comes into our stadium, and me and him have a walk-off in overtime like that against his old team, against my old childhood team. So stuff like that always just, constantly plays in my memories. But I think, too, also my last year stands out more. Wasn't sure how to say bye, And I remember just being happy, man, just knowing that, my trainer used to always tell me, Mel, every time he working on me the night before the game, he like, bro, leave it on the field and I can fix it tomorrow. And that was my approach to football, period. I left everything on the field. So regardless of what I got is out there. I shouldn't have to come back. I don't regret nothing. Everything that I had in me, I left it. So if you want to see anything else, you got to replay it. Because that's how I pretty much left the game. I left it on the field.
You have a lot of your teammates here today, as far as Fred, who you played with, came up to. What are they saying about this honor for you? And you're not going to live down the tears.
Fred, I'm holding them back now. Fred ready for me to get home and shower so we can go out somewhere. Fred talking about let's celebrate with some bourbon and whiskey. That's what he want to do. They happy, man, and that's one of the things. Fred, I wish London was here because he was just here last week with us. They happy, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be there that day. Sean Springs, ecstatic for me. Fred, ecstatic for me. You got Tim Hightower, guy who played with me, very happy. Tim and my brother been coercing this whole thing for months now, and I had no clue. So they just happy for me, man. And like I said before, that's what I can rest with, just knowing that, man, the stuff I did is not going unnoticed.
Santana, congratulations, Santana.
Thank you, buddy.
We've been listening to guys like Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, Von Miller talking about the opportunity to pass down their knowledge to the younger players. For a young receiver who wants to be where you were sitting right here someday, what can your achievement and what you've been able to accomplish teach them?
You can teach them a lot. If they really want to, take a deep dive and really find out how it all became, they'll go as deep as college and be like, wow, this guy walked on. Wow, this guy went out there and surpassed all those greats and left out of there on top. Wow, this guy was a first-round pick. Wow, this guy hurt his knee his first year. Didn't even play that first season, barely. Played my last 4 games of that season. Wow, overcame that. Next year was a Pro Bowler, All-Pro as a punt returner. It's so much stuff they can look back on and just say. And then, nowadays they don't talk about my size as much as they did back then. And I think me, guys like Steve Smith, guys like Bobby Ingram, we pioneered those little guys to be able to come out there and strut our stuff at a high level on that field. And believe it or not, I remember my draft, they were saying if I was 5'11", I would have been the first receiver taken. So, but then I was able to be 5'9" or 5'10" and go out there and play 14 years as a starter for the majority of those years. So at the end of the day, man, they take a deep dive. They'll be pleased to understand that it wasn't easy, but they also know that kind of a guy like myself paved the way for what they're doing now. Thank you.